Now, still on some sad news, one person died with 2 others sustaining severe injuries after a Mercedes-Benz bus ran into hawkers on the pavement of Ahenema, Kokoben, near Kumasi in the Ashanti region. Now, eyewitnesses' accounts suggest the driver's brake might have failed him.
The deceased victim, identified as Amafosua, mother of 1, sold tissue paper and eggs along the street to support her family. The overloaded bus from Kumasi was bound for Chiwekum in the western region. The driver and his mate took to their heels after the incident. Street hawkers say this is the second time in 3 months that an accident has killed a street hawker.
Traffic in and me who's a car free ba. To be quite minimum say ebia or funny say. It's me who yana car ne kwa fa na e through pavement no. To me na me na hope na me huligina nchen. It's me huligina nchen no. And at a far pavement and so. And I can't forget about Kokoben private car being shame when I'm me nimno or a tia said a former black nurse from Yasin Sam. It's my friend sister on auto pan on and Saho and in shame when I pass in an edging. See the we answer through pavement, not by back water, no sort of bread, ni Wafaka and Finfin. Sister, I'm never the harm, none of the Koto man can't be born.
Some hawkers allege some drivers threaten to kill them whenever they complain about overspeeding.
So it's the intention that they have started to do this, they are trying to do this. So it's the intention that it's the intention to do this thing. So this has happened before. Yeah, first one, I picked the innocent person to the hospital. Did the person die? Yeah, the person dead on my hand.
Thank you. Naya Ojima reported.
The sad story there now, the woman who spoke in the Tree dialect earlier, and she was just explaining what she witnessed, and according to her, the Mercedes-Benz bus was coming down on them, and she thought that it was just a speeding vehicle, but it veered off the road, went onto the pavement, and it almost hit her. She had to jump off, and then it hit another person, and according to her, who fell under a private vehicle. Away from the story, the worsening effects of climate change is creating hardship for many farmers across Ghana. Excessive sunshine and unmitigated rains continue to cost farmers their yields. John News' Justice Bedo has been to the northern regional town of Wulugu to find out why and what this means for food and security in the country's savannah belt.
A long walk. It's been over an hour on the road. I'm on my way to the farm of this man, John Banzali. He doesn't know what to expect. Upon reaching there, he is in shock.
I'm not
the only one affected by the floods. I couldn't harvest anything. A lot of people in Wulugu didn't harvest anything from their farms. So this dry season, there would be a lot of hunger. We can only rely on God. He sees beyond what human beings see. He is our helper.
This is it, the sheer level of devastation that extreme rainfall and unmitigated sunshine is having on farmlands. This 2.5 acre maize farm that is meant to be feeding a household of nearly 20 people has now been destroyed by the floods. And as the dry season looms here, only one thing remains on the minds of farmers: hunger and uncertainty.
John is one of hundreds of farmers in Wulugu, a small town in the northern region, who are now counting their losses. Felling of trees here for fuel wood is a major economic activity. The effect of that has now reached alarming levels, exposing farmlands to the havoc of floods. In Wulugu, like many parts of northern Ghana, trees that are being cut, go into activities like charcoal burning.
The forest that has been going down and down, it didn't start at this time. Far long, the time we were not even born, they were into this business, this charcoal business. And if you interview them, is the poverty and all things comes under. We have only one raining season.
Ghana has lost a third of its forest cover in the last 2 decades alone. At the current rate of deforestation, with no clear government commitment to protect the country's forests, it may only get worse. Justice Bedu, Joy News, Wulugu.
National Service personnel expressed disappointment at government for not implementing the allowance increment promised by the then National Democratic Congress administration. In a statement, the personnel said they were optimistic and hopeful their January allowance was going to be 599 Ghana cedis, but they received 350 Ghana cedis. Maxwell Agbagba spoke to some of them.
We started strong advocacy for National Service Allowance increment right from June last year, and the response was that they are working on an increment and that would have to wait so that it takes effect from January. But we were starting in September, and then we were waiting for the increment to start in September. But what we kept hearing was that, well, government would have to plan that as part of the year, so it takes effect in January. So we would have to keep calm on that. So National Service Secretariat assured National Service personnel that allowance was going to increase in January. And so it was tough anyway, especially when we had not started service yet, and it appeared like, well, you've not even started service yet and you are waiting and asking for National Service allowance to be increased. And so we had to be patient and wait for January for that to be made. And we were very excited when in January the announcement came out finally, because we were told that before allowance is increased, it has to go through some processes from National Service Secretariat to the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to the Ministry of Finance and all that. So that was finalized, and then the announcement was made in December. Yes, but I have to clarify issues here to say that now the first quarter budget for 2017 that would be applying from January to March was drawn and announced by the then Finance Minister Seth Tekpe in October 2016. And as at then, they were still working on the increment, and the finality came somewhere after that was done. So it was still announced before that. And so we think that it's a matter of disrespect and disregard if the same amount comes in with no explanation, no communication, and no kind of concern or care from the National Service Secretariat or the government. And we think that, well, this is not about a government going or a government coming in. It's about the welfare of National Service personnel. And if you follow the trend, we've been receiving the same amount we are receiving now from the 2013-2014 academic year. So it's been about 3 years now. And of course, you'd agree with me that the cost of living keeps increasing, and the average National Service personnel is calling on government to effect this increase because we really need it. I know a lot of people who are borrowing to survive. And so we thought that this increment, although it will not solve all of our problems, would come as a relief to take off some of the burdens. And we've started and been living under this unfavorable condition from September. And we think that a new year should represent new hope from us.
We have the president of the Greater Accra National Service Personnel Association here with us. Now, Kwejo, you issued a statement yesterday telling National Service personnel you were basically allaying their fears about what has happened. Tell me, what communication are you having with stakeholders? What are you doing to ensure that service personnel receive what is due them? That is a little over 500 cities.
Thank you very much. As you rightly saw in our statement, we urged all National Service personnel to, as it were, remain calm as a leadership of NASPA engages stakeholders on the allowance increment.
I want to know, what are you doing, right now to ensure that service personnel get their money? So what exactly are you doing?
As we speak now, I have had some kind of conversation, phone conversation with some leadership of the scheme. And as we speak now, from here, I'm on my way to the Secretariat to have some brief meetings with the leadership of the scheme to discuss and ask the very reason why the increment did not reflect in our accounts this month, January. Okay. And so as we speak now, on my way to the scheme, from there possibly I would go to the Ministry of Education, which has an oversight responsibility of the scheme, to meet the Minister of Education, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, to also ask him what it is that we have not had the increment that was approved somewhere last year.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so finally, can they get a message? Are you giving them any assurance that by the close of the day you get any explanations for them?
Yes, we are assuring all national service personnel. We are telling them to calm down, and that leadership of NASPA remains very resolute and committed in ensuring that whichever plight that they have is alleviated.
This is Joy News Today with me, Benz Abubedu. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, there are more stories. We'll go to Parliament as well.